Good morning, everybody. Mike Anderson, National Marketing Director here at American Independent Marketing. We're giving you the 5-minute out notification. I'll be joined shortly by our Marketing Coordinator, Eliana Daly, and Regional Director, Anthony Satadine. We're going to spend some time and take you through a little bit of a revision on what we originally told you, but we're going to spend some time talking about recipes for long-term care success. And I really think that you'll be pleased with what Anthony and I put together, and I know it'll be worth your while, and we will talk about how to have the right tools to make those recipes work for you. So go ahead and refill that coffee cup, water glass, whatever it is, get comfortable, and we will get started here in about 4 minutes. Thanks.
Okay. Everyone, my name is Eliana Daly, and I'm the Marketing Coordinator here at AIM. Before we begin today's webinar on Mutual's LTC Toolbox, I wanted to take just a moment to introduce a new LTC tool that we've been working on at AIM. So we're always looking to develop new channels to give our agents ideas and tips you can use to sell, and a great channel we want to utilize is social media, specifically Facebook. So we've created an exclusive LTC Facebook group where I, along with AIM's marketing team, post tools pretty much daily that you can use to grow your LTC business. To join the group, all you have to do is visit facebook.com/groups/LTCI Sales Forum and click join. After that, you should be approved to join pretty quickly by either myself or the marketing team, since this group is pretty heavily monitored throughout the day. After you've joined, we highly encourage you to post any ideas or questions you have in the group. This is a great way for you to communicate with AIM's marketing team as well as other agents on a new platform, and we really want to make this as interactive as possible. We're excited about this because it opens up a new line of communication, and it's a tool you can use to get quick answers and new ideas. If you have any questions with joining the group or any issues or anything like that, you can always give me a call at the AIM office. And again, my name is Eliana. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Mike and Anthony for the webinar.
All right, great. Thanks, Eliana. Just some basic stuff that a lot of you are familiar with that we'll go over here before Anthony gets us moving forward. And that is our next webinar. You can pencil this in. It'll be on your calendar. And that's going to be December 11th. So there we go. Okay. It's going to be the short-term care showdown, and that'll be Anthony and myself again. It'll be on the 11th, 9 a.m., which is kind of our standard time for webinars. As far as this morning, usual protocol, everybody's muted right now because we are recording this and we want to get a good quality recording. Once we finish up here in about 45 minutes or so, we'll get it processed, we'll get it uploaded to our website, and it'll be available for you to review. And we will take questions at the end, as is always the case. So save your questions. We'll take care of those when we get a little farther down the pathway. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Anthony Satadine, our Regional Marketing Director. He's going to talk to you about some of our recipes for long-term care success. So Anthony, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good day. And let's begin. So what if I told you guys that the average home healthcare aid costs about $50,000 annually for a 40-hour work week? Or even how about this? What if I told you that it costs anywhere between $89,000 to $100,000 for a room in a nursing home? That's a lot of money. Many people who self-insure rely on their assets and retirements to pay for their long-term care. Unfortunately, long-term care is not that expensive. It's about a penny on a dollar. Long-term care is more affordable than ever and helps protect our clients from their assets. Now, some things to keep in mind. 90% of people over the age of 65 will need long-term care. So if you look at your book of business, about 9 out of every 10 clients will need long-term care. A little tidbit to keep in mind, family members are not free. Unfortunately, we all heard the story of our clients telling us, well, my son plans to take care of me, or my daughter plans to take care of me as well. Unfortunately, even family members that provide you with long-term care, there still is a cost. Caregiving is a significant physical and emotional toll that it takes on our loved ones. One of the biggest issues we've dealt with over time is the constant concern of, what if my client gets declined? It is imperative that we try to connect with your clients as well as allow them to feel comfortable that they can disclose their medical information with you. It's important to understand our clients' medical conditions. Therefore, we can properly assess the rate class as well as their eligibility. We also have pre-qual sheets here. So if you do need a pre-qual sheet that you are curious on your client or a potential client, you're more than welcome to reach out to us here at the AIM team, and we'll be able to get that out to you. People are buying long-term care at a younger age. While the average buyer now is about 56.6 years old, nearly 20% of buyers are under the age of 50. On that note, a common mistake often occurs when we misquote our clients. We quote our clients for what we think is their needs rather than what the client wants. It's important we don't stick or shock our client, but get them comfortable. Get comfortable with them and figure out what they might have for a price range, and ideally try to stick within that. A great philosopher once actually told me, do not sell someone a Tesla if they want a Subaru. Ideally, you want to show your clients the premium, or you want to show your clients the value before you actually show them the premium. You can give them examples of real life scenarios to help emphasize the need rather than the want. There's never a right time or wrong time to talk to your clients about long-term care.
That's a great comment, Anthony. And as we move forward here, we're going to talk a little bit about need, and Anthony touched on some of that. Let me get to the current slide here so you can see this. Okay, so discussing need. Anthony did touch on that in the comments that he made about emphasizing the value. That's huge. The biggest thing to get folks to understand is that they don't have to agree with this. We didn't set the rules up. You didn't set the rules up. But the rules of the game, the way that the game is playing itself out right now, you can see it right there. I'm not a big person about reading statistics. You can see the number. All right. A minute ago, Anthony talked about how 90% of the people that are in your book of business have never had a long-term care conversation. We have agents call us every single day. And when we have those conversations, invariably the topic of leads, of people to talk to, that topic comes up constantly. If you want to keep yourself busy, and if you want to do the most good, long-term care conversations are a way that you can begin to take the best care of your clients. And the reason that they are the way to do that is because, as Anthony said at the very beginning of his conversation, it's affordable, and it comes back down to something that the folks that are familiar with my webinars have heard me talk about over and over and over again, and that is it's about protecting the American dream. This 70% here of people who reach 65 and need long-term care services, if they haven't had a long-term care conversation, how do you suppose they're going to pay for that? Because whatever their number, I call it the number, whatever their number is, the amount of money they've got coming in every month to take care of that well-funded retirement adventure, believe me, believe us when we tell you that that number doesn't include $4,500, $5,000, $6,000 a month to pay for caregivers, to pay for care in a facility, to pay for folks to come out and help out. That's not built into that. The only place they have to go to solve that problem, if you haven't helped them, is to go into their retirement monies, crack it open, and take out more than they had originally planned. And that's going to shrink the time that well-funded retirement adventure is going to be able to go on. You are uniquely positioned, as we say down here, that how that long-term care policy allows people to get the care they need. You are uniquely positioned to help these folks put together a revenue stream that's going to grow every year with inflation. It's going to enable them to do what they want to do when they need to do that. And the most important thing is because of the variability and the flexibility of the product set that we have available, whether it's traditional long-term care, whether it's life with long-term care rider, whether it's the hybrid products, we have a product set that will allow the folks to put in place a plan and move forward now when they are young and healthy, and then be in a position to deal with the things that they need to deal with when the time comes. Because taking away all the fancy terminology and all of the things that scare the crap out of people when you want to talk to them about this, long-term care insurance, no matter where it comes from, it is a revenue stream that allows them to address need that we've talked about a bunch right here. It allows them to address a need that, frankly, they didn't really want to admit when you talked to them was there. But if you did the job and you listen to the things that Anthony and I are talking about, and then you listen to other things that we've talked about as far as coaching and such, you're positioning them to be able to address that need. Let's see if we can get this thing. There you go. And the other piece of this, and we don't spend a lot of time on this, but it's a good thing to be aware of, is this idea of putting off the decision. Okay, there's an old song lyric that talks about how if they choose not to do anything, they're still making a choice. And again, this goes back to the rules of the game. They're not rules that we set. They're not rules that you set. But there is that risk that all of your clients right now, let's say 90%, let's be kind and say 90% because you've had some long-term care conversations. That 90% that you haven't talked to, okay, they have that risk. They are carrying that risk around with them every day. They are unknowingly choosing to self-insure. You can help them with that, okay? And with 90% of not just your book of business, but the people in your universe, your family, your friends, all those folks, if you add that all together, that's a significant number of people. And really it comes down to this right here. What would they do if their health changed tomorrow? We hear stories every day about young people being diagnosed with Parkinson's, being diagnosed with ALS, which is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Okay, that is an unexpected change in health. Many of you have heard me talk on other webinars. Anthony and I were just talking about this morning. A very close friend of mine who I had 3 different conversations with, he and his wife, about long-term care insurance and about the benefits for them of doing something to protect themselves, and they elected not to. He had a stroke at the age of 63, and that stroke forced him to medically retire from his career, and it forced them, because they didn't have long-term care insurance, they had to crack open his 401k to pay for care, the care that he needed to get back to a point to where he was consistently functional on a day-to-day basis. Okay, and they ended up using most of the remainder of what was in the 401k to pay off their house to reduce expenses, and now they subsist on his Social Security income and some inheritance money. But think about, just in general terms, without getting into the specifics of cost of care, where we're at here, any of that kind of stuff, think about what $4,500 a month worth of benefits would have, what kind of a difference that would have made available to them. And the answer I can tell you is significant. So it's the kind of thing that you don't want to lose sight of, and you want to understand that this piece right here, this cost of waiting, there's a lot of different parts to it. It isn't just that it'll cost them more to get what they need or should have if they wait 2 years to go forward. There's the potential cost of this health change, and that may put them in a position where they can't buy long-term care anymore. So one of the important things to remember as you look at these recipe cards that we've showed you is that these are great recipes, but the best of recipes are only so good because you've got to have the right kind of tools available to you. And with that, I'm going to transition back to Anthony, but you've got to have the right kind of tools available to be able to take advantage of these different kind of opportunities. So Anthony's going to take us through some of the tools that are available.
Yeah, that was actually a really good perspective to use, Mike. I truly always learn something new when listening to Mike be able to explain and help get a deeper dive on things. So this is a Mutual's Marketing Solution Center. In order to use this, you must be appointed with Mutual of Omaha. I'm going to walk you through and show you guys some kind of unique things. So if you click on, once you get here, we'll be able to get you the link to get you set up and how to get you access to this. But what's nice is you can actually build a campaign. And the first thing you'll do when you get logged in, it'll take you to this page. And you'll be able to select a product category to view campaigns. You can go from the life insurance side of Mutual of Omaha to the health insurance side of Mutual of Omaha. We'll stick with the health insurance side for today, just because we're going over long-term care. Once you click into it, it'll give you kind of a brief explanation, and then they'll bring you down to some frequently asked questions. I think it's always great to actually check these out because sometimes there are questions that we don't think of that end up popping in our mind later down the road. And clicking on this itself will give you some pretty good, neat questions like, can you piece these and send these to consumers? And it will give you the answer, as well as do materials need to be reviewed before I can send them, which is nice because every single one of these pieces of material have been scrubbed through by Mutual of Omaha and they prepared it to the access, so we wouldn't need that. Now you can select filters, whether the product, media type, campaign objective. We'll filter just long-term care. As going through this, what's nice is, as you can see, managing expectations when clients go on claim, using LTCI apps. And we're just going to kind of briefly scroll through these, using inflation protection to reach a desired premium, the advantages of traditional LTCI. There's endless and amounts of topics that you can go through. We'll go with LTC application pitfalls. Now, if you're kind of curious on what the title may mean or have any curiosity of it, there will be a brief explanation right here. An LTCI sales can be a lengthy journey, and then it will explain the kind of brief idea. Products, it'll list long-term care. That's the product we are going over. Objective, hot topics, and underwriting. What's nice is from here you can go to a banner ad. This will allow you and give you a good explanation on how you can add this to your clipboard so you can add it to your website. And from here you don't have to go back if you wanted to click through. Email templates. It'll also show you as well how to do such. Promotional text. This is one of my favorites. So you can use a promotional text on your web page, blog, and social media posts, emails, or newsletters. This is a text that you can simply copy or copy to text or clipboard. It's a jungle out there. So using this is pretty neat, and it gives a really good personal touch. So if you wanted to be able to send this to your clients, you're more than welcome if you can, or if you wanted to post it on social media, your Facebook, to give a big pop and a big drawing in of your consumers, that's also a way to do that as well. And as you can see, again, there's so many different options you can go through that will be able to help assist in whatever your desire and need is to get through. Now you can go through tools and resources as well, which would be the next tab. On here, you can check out the library of tools and resources that Mutual has allowed for us. One thing that they do have that I appreciate the most is the ways to stay connected. They have their quarterly magazine that Mutual Matters. You can click on the first quarter, fourth quarter, etc., and keep going down as well. It's some great information. You can go to the Express as well, and that will be all their blogs and underwriting products such as sales and programs. It's pretty interesting, and it does give a little bit of a deeper understanding of wherever you may be concerned with. Company products and brochures. What's nice about this is if you want to learn a little bit more about Mutual of Omaha, or if your client is curious, because who wouldn't be curious about who the carrier is that we're going to, you can also show them the brochure as well, and it'll give a little bit of deeper understanding on who Mutual of Omaha is and why Mutual of Omaha. There's also a tab as well for all product brochures. This will allow you to jump through either life, health products, all through the portfolio of Mutual of Omaha's products. You can get their brochures as well. Now, when we go to the marketing support, this is just a brief overview. and tying everything together of what we just went over through the campaign builder, as well as the tools and resources. Targeted campaigns are a great thing, and we truly recommend using this as a one-stop to help you be able to use products and tie your tools in together as resources for your clients. So I'm going to turn it over back to Mike.
And I'm back. Okay, it's worth noting that we've got a webinar that will be very in-depth on the Marketing Solutions Center scheduled for the early part of January. Megan Kinney from Mutual of Omaha, who's heavily involved in all things Marketing Center, will be on that call. She'll be able to spend a lot of time walking you through a lot of the different pieces, parts here. So wanted to take a minute and look at some other tools that we've got available for you, some of which you may not be aware are available. And this is the AIM website, which is whyaim.com. Just like it sounds, whyaim.com. And once you are appointed and have access to the website, you've got a treasure trove of information here under all these different tabs. Two key things that folks don't realize that we've got is our recorded webinars, and we've done the Marketing Solutions Center there before, but our recorded webinars, we've got tons of webinars that we have recorded over the years, all of which are cataloged and are available on our website for you to circle back and watch. As you can see, Dial It Down is coming up here. We've done that before. The Short-Term Care Showdown, you can see a full event list down here, and you'll find a ton of great information there, some of which may be maybe really helpful for a sales call that you've got coming up. It's the kind of thing that you can watch on Saturday morning if you're prepping to talk with somebody and you want to review some stuff. Another piece that we've got is our pending application system called PASS, Pending Application Status System. Now, I don't have access to anything here because I don't write business on a routine basis, but as an agent who writes with us, you are able to search all of your pending policies. You can search by last name. It'll show you the app date, company insured, and the status. This is a way, and again, this is based on your time. A long time ago, we came to terms with the fact that the insurance business for brokerage agents was not a 9-to-5 business, and we really have worked hard over the course of many, many, many years to make resources available for you on your schedule. Okay, so if you log yourself in, the applications that you have written are going to show up here, and you can see what's going on in terms of the status of those applications. Maybe a client called you on Saturday morning, something like that. You've got the availability of going in there and looking at that as well. You've got the long-term care quoting software, which is the side-by-side Stratecision. Once upon a time, it was a really powerful tool. The fact that the great majority of the carriers have gotten out of the marketplace has reduced that a little bit. It's nothing to do with anything that we've got going on here. It's just the reality of it. And then the last piece is access to materials. Oops, wrong way. I didn't do that correct. Hang on. So that's not what I wanted. Hold on. If you key in this address here, whyaim.com/aim, what you'll find is a forms directory, and we built this to where you can get to this even if we have a problem with our website, which is very, very rare. And as you can see, documents for AIM. This is specific to Mutual of Omaha long-term care, GTL and Kemper short-term care. Securian will be coming off because their product is going to be retired here at the end of the year. So if you are in a situation and you can't do an e-app for whatever reason, and you need to get an app for Kansas for a sales call on Saturday morning, you can go to this site. You can hover over Kansas, and you know that you're going to do the GTL. Actually, you're not going to do GTL. You're going to do Mutual of Omaha's long-term care. You can click, and it'll open up a treasure trove of information that includes brochures, It includes applications that are fillable PDF applications in most situations. It gives you a link to download the software if you need to update that, any number of different things. And again, this is specifically built to allow you access to what you need on a schedule that might be a little bit more convenient than a typical 8 to 5 time frame on the Pacific Coast, which is when we are available. And it's worth noting that you can get both the Mutual Care Solutions product guide and underwriting guide, the most recent versions of this. We've made every effort that we can to get that out to folks, but we know that sometimes folks don't catch the notifications by email. So we've done everything we can to get that out to you, but you do have this information available, as well as the shopper's guide and the choosing a Medigap policy. So there's a treasure trove of info. All of this is electronic. You can grab a copy. You can send it to yourself. You can forward it to a client, whatever it is that you need. But the whole idea was this was designed so that if you're trying to do something on Saturday morning and you realize you don't have the materials that you need, this will make that available to you. Obviously, the software, you're all familiar with that software. It's a great tool in and of itself. Stephanie just did a webinar within the last couple of weeks specifically to that, so I'm not going to spend any time going back to that, but you can find that webinar recorded and on the system as well. So that's just kind of a cross section of a ton of great tools that we've got available for you. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and switch over so that we can take questions from folks. We do ask you to be courteous if you don't intend to ask questions. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and muting yourself so that we don't have background noise with tea kettles boiling and dogs barking and all those kinds of things like you can hear right there.
You will help to a very high standard by your institution to get the tenure you have.
Including your students.
Including your students.
And in this case, nothing less than.
All right. Well, we're going to have to start over again and see if we can eliminate that noise. Sorry about that. Again, if you're not going to ask questions, if you would not mind, in terms of being courteous for the fellow attendees to mute yourself, we would greatly appreciate that. We're starting to get it opened up. Go ahead and fire away if you do have questions. And Anthony or myself, all right, there was part of it right there. Figured that out. Anthony and myself are available to answer questions that you might have. Go ahead, everybody. Well, I can't believe there's no questions. Again, a couple quick reminders. Our next webinar is on the 11th. It's the Short-Term Care Showdown. On the short-term care products.
The photographers will be cleared out of the shop. Just a program note.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and mute that. If you've got questions, go ahead and key them in. I see a couple of you have done that. I'll see if we can go ahead and get that information out to folks or answer questions. Right now, nobody's popping in with anything, so one more chance for that. Again, the next webinar up is the Short-Term Care Showdown. That's next week on Wednesday. Anthony and I will be back for that. As we wrap up, I want to give a quick shout out to Eliana. She did a great job. She's put a lot of time and energy into a lot of the different resources like the Facebook page that we've put together, and using that as a resource that's available for you on an ongoing basis with all kinds of information that's going out on virtually a daily basis, as she noted. So we're really happy to be able to make that available as well. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap everything up here. We do appreciate everybody making their time available this morning. We'll be following up with you to see what we can do to help you move forward, maybe wrap a case up here before 2019 gets done, or to get you positioned to hit the ground running in 2020. So no questions. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time very much. We're going to go ahead and close it down. Take care, and we'll talk again soon.